Blast me to the Ramesses system. It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey, issue 85, full coverage. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. So today we're continuing our look at the expanded issues, and this is issue 85 and our first brand new Necron model. So, as usual, don't forget to, of course, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description down below, including the Mad Merlins Patreon. And, of course, drop a comment down below. It's helpful to hear back from you all, and it goes away to helping the channel out for free. So, here we go with issue 85, and it's pretty much probably one of my favourite models of the expansion. It's the Hexmark Destroyer, one I'm surprised we didn't get actually in the magazine itself. So we'll take a look at the frame first, then we'll go through the issue. So here we have the frame for the Hexmark Destroyer. It is just a single frame. It is not a push-fit model, so you will need glue, although there are a few little bits like posts and pegs here in places. But that's mainly just to help guide things into place. Yeah, it is a rather nice model. So we've got these 6 enmitic pistols. We got 2 head options. You got one with 7 eyes or one with 6 eyes, whichever one you prefer. Magazine will show us to build it one way, but you can easily pick and choose. We've got a nice little scenic element here. Bit of Imperial ruins with a dead skull and some scarabs crawling over it. And yeah, it is pretty much another Scorpic Destroyer type model, but a really cool one in the fact that it gives us some range to our Destroyer cult lists, alongside the longer ranged version of the Destroyer Lord, not Destroyer Lord, Heavy Destroyer. Yeah, really missing the fact that we didn't get the regular Locust Destroyers in the collection. I was really looking forward to picking up 3 of those. But yeah, here we have it. We got something cool and new for the Necrons. But yeah, not a lot to talk about on the frame. He does look really cool, but there is a lot of components, a lot of fragile components, so do take care when cutting out. Don't use too much glue as well, as you might damage the detail. But yeah, there he is. And he comes with a 50mm base even. So yeah, it's a really nice little model to add to our Destroyer Cults collection. Right, we've got a lot to look through, so let's take a look at issue 85. So yeah, we got a lot to go through. There's a fold out, and we have quite a lot of content inside the actual magazine. So we have the Hexmark Destroyer page. We learn about Ezekiel and Samael. We learn about the Tyranid's invasion, the Yanari, In Search of Plunder, a story, and we have a fold-out all about the Leagues of Votan. We build and paint and learn the rules for our Hexmark Destroyer, and we return to Kalmar's Skull. So the Hexmark Destroyer Tripedal Necron Sharpshooter. Hexmark Destroyers believe that the most efficient way of slaughtering organic life is through the application of accurate fire. Thus, they have enhanced their forms with targeting systems and deadly weapons. So yeah, Hexmarks have a vast array of different types of Oculus targeting systems. They all carry enmitic disintegrator pistols, perfect for stripping down any organic matter into its biological forms, and it's been given a tripod body, much like the Destroyer Cults, so it can easily scuttle across the battlefield. So, turning over, we of course can name this guy, and we've got Kophis the Dreadeye. His gifts of destruction are heartbeat sensors, and he was cast adrift in the void for a long time. So yeah, he spent a lot of time just thinking about, why have I left out here? So he doesn't like being alone anymore. But yeah, pretty cool. We got a little kill chart here, so play 3 games with him and tick off every time he kills an enemy hoping to get 3 enemies. So yeah, destroying at least 1 enemy model in 3 turns of a game. Yeah, pretty cool. And then we can also take off the games he's completed and stayed alive in. So, moving on then, we got some more information on Space Marine characters. And this one is Ezekiel, the Grandmaster of Librarians. So, stern and uncompromising, Ezekiel rarely speaks outside of rituals or during interrogations of captured fallen. It is he that assesses the worthiness of the candidates for the inner circle. So yeah, he's the Grandmaster of the Librarius, and obviously he takes the position of Chief Librarian within the Dark Angels chapter. He has seen the rise and fall of many Grandmasters and even Masters. He is the Keeper of the Keys and also the Book of Salvation, which contains the names of all captured fallen written down in that traitor's own blood. Ooh, gruesome. Next up then, one of my favourite Dark Angel characters is Samael, Master of the All-Bike Ravenwing. So Samael has served as captain of the Second Company for over a century, and an unusually long time. The Ravenwing have suffered the loss of a master more than any other company in the chapter, for they are always at the forefront of the hunt for the fallen. So yeah, Samael is the youngest Dark Angel ever to advance to the ranks of Ravenwing, when Grandmaster Gideon elevated him from the 8th Company. He rides the ancient patterned jet bike, the Corvex jet bike, so part of the Space Marine arsenal of the Heresy back in the day. It's now the only such remaining example of its kind. Yeah, really cool. He's a nice model. Sadly, I had the Finecast one, and the sword was a little bit wonky, but he was still a rather fun model to build and paint. And I kind of want to go back and get him and paint him again. But I'm hoping that maybe he will cross the Rubicon and we'll get a updated model sometime in the near future. Especially with the changes to how the Outriders and the Invaders work. Now they act as a squad. So yeah, pretty cool. Right, moving on then, we start our Inquisitorial report all on the Tyranids. I wonder why. To witness a Tyranid invasion is both terrifying and fascinating in equal measure, and betrays the true intelligence and adaptability of the hive mind. So, we have Inquisitor Gallius Shan back again with another Xenos report. This time, we look at the Tyranids, and these are the stages of a Tyranid assault, starting with the invasion. So yeah, to think of the Tyranid invasion as simply an all-out swarming assault devoid of strategy is a mistake. The hive mind learns, adapts, and overcomes all obstacles in its path. So yeah, we start the invasion from space. Spore pods or tyrannocytes are often used to drop mass infantry and even larger monsters into the heart of the enemy battlefield. So the swarm beasts will include termagants, hormagaunts, and even the dreaded gene stealers there. So yeah. These are the most numerous foot soldiers of the Tyranid forces, and are, most numerous, and often the first to be committed to an assault. And now we have definitely our last Eldari report. This is all about the Ynnari. So the Ynnari are a new power amongst the Eldari. They seek the rise of Yniad, the Eldari god of the dead, to life, and in doing so, spell the doom of Slaanesh and restore the race's former glory. The hatred of chaos makes them useful allies at times, but, like all Eldari, they are just as often mortal foes to humanity. So yeah, this details the rise of Yrain and the Ynnari. It was Yrain who, of course, helped revive Rabute Gilliman from his stasis, and she has become a sort of ambassador between the two forces, saying that they need to learn to fight together to help against the coming storm. So yeah, we have the two notable faces here, Yvraine Emissary and the Vizark, her personal bodyguard. We have a breakdown on what the Ynnari alliance actually is here. So the Ynnari have drawn support from the Drukhari of Camorra, various craft worlds, and even the Harlequins. Such infamous names as Jane Zar, Prince Uriel of Iyanden, Lelith Hesperex, and Eldred Ulfwan are known to have allied themselves with Yvraine. This is not to say that all Eldari and Drukhari have joined the cause. Many craft worlders rail against these teachings, and the powers that be in Camorra continue to plot Yvraine's downfall. I mean, Yvraine started off as a prisoner in Camorra, and so she managed to escape, luckily, thanks to partly help with the Vizark. But yeah, it's nice that the Eldari are starting to unite, which is what the Harlequins have been trying to do for many, many years. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It would be a nice army that I would think about collecting at some point. They do have some nice, interesting colour schemes. Lots of dark reds, blacks, blues. But here we see Dire Avengers in their classic blue and white. We also see Howling Banshees in their bone armour, fighting alongside some Tempestus Scions here as they help take on a unseen foe. Most likely Chaos, of course. It's going to be Chaos. But yeah, that's nice to see the Eldari coming out of the webway and actually helping us. Poor guy on the phone. Mum, not now! But yeah, final member of the Triumvirate is the Yinkarn, which is the avatar of Ynied. So the most disturbing reports of the Ynnari tell of the Yinkarn, a monstrous humanoid creature almost demonic in appearance that resembles a roaring hurricane of psychic energy. This creature can rip the life from its foes, turning them to dust, and is empowered by the death that it inflicts. So yeah, not the nicest of things to come across on the battlefield, but he is still an important part of the Ynnari's cause. Right, moving on then, we have In Search of Plunder, a little short story taking place on a Space Hulk. So, a Space Hulk has emerged from the warp above a remote Imperial world. A Necron cryptek is drawn to the Hulk by the prospect of unearthing lost treasures and ancient technology. His boarding party are not alone, however. The lesser races are no less hungry for plunder and salvage. So this follows as it says, a cryptek of the Necrons, and how he faces off against a squad of Kazakin with the powers with his particular squad here. So he has a sort of a kill team type squad. So we've got some Deathmarks, a plasma sight to buff them up. And yeah, and here we see the kill team box that came out, the Hierotech Circle. So you get a Technomancer, a lower ranking cryptek here, 2 plasma sights, and a squad of destroyers, as well as a sort of a Royal Warden-like character as well. Yeah, got a bit of detail here at the bottom about the Kazakin and the cryptek himself. Yeah, it's a pretty cool ending. So basically the cryptek goes off on his own, lets his squad fight it off with the humans, and he goes off and finds what he wants and disappears. So before we get into the build guide, let's take a look at our last piece of lore for the issue, which is all about Leagues of Votann. So, a march to war. From their holds deep in the galactic core, the Leagues of Votann venture out into the wider galaxy in search of the resources and plunder required to sustain their ever-growing civilization. The Great Rift has brought the stoic warriors into conflict with humanity, Xenos, and Chaos alike. So a nice bit of information helping expand knowledge on the Leagues of Votann here. So we've got the galactic core, the ripping of the Cicatrix Maledictum here, the vast territories of the galactic core also include, of course, Terra. Yeah. Recently, they've become in contact with Kindred Oath bands, Orcs, Drukhari, Eldari, and even Necrons. So some of them noted warriors. We have the Brokir Thunderkin, who wield heavy grav weapons. The Hernkin Pioneers, who are scouts riding grav bikes and will often be seen trading with outside races. And most common are the Hearthkin Warriors here. They are led by the Carls and are bodyguarded by the Ironhear Hearthguard. And on the inside, we have a trio of the larger, more noted leagues. So the Kronos Hegemony, a relatively young league. The Kronos Hegemony is amongst the most aggressive and warlike of the leagues of Votann. So yeah, they have a really cool black sort of colour scheme with a dirty bone sort of fatigue. So yeah, really cool. We have the Greater Furion League, the first and foremost of all leagues. One of the original founding leagues, the Greater Furion League, is also one of the largest. So yeah, over 200 different kindreds, and has the greatest greatest Votann character of them all. What's his name? Uther the Destined, that's the guy. Yeah. Who is a legendary Carl in his own right. One of my favourite models there, the little wizard dude. I really like him. Might get him just to paint up. And we have the Ymir Conglomerate. So the Ymir this is a mouthful. The Ymir Conglomerates are renowned as experts of manufacturing. Kindreds that wish to join the league must prove the exceptional skill at the Brokir at crafting battle gear, void ships, field technologies, or whatever the systems their forge specializes in creating. So yeah, pretty cool. Nice red color scheme with black accents. Yeah, not too sure what colour scheme I'd do if I did have a League of Votann army, but something tells me it'd either be red or blue. But yeah, there we have it. So let's get back to the magazine. So here we go. Let's have a look then at our build guide. So here is a multi-part model. Just make sure you take care with delicate components. Take time to brace and carefully trim the cable of mold lines, and gently glue. Don't use too much glue as you might ruin detail. We're instructed to build him into two sub-assemblies, so the actual destroyer himself and his base. So you want to make sure you put the larger rock pretty much center on the base, with the ruined piece of masonry pointing at 12 o'clock. Or 6 if you have an upside down clock in your house. So yeah, building the Hexmark Destroyer, we start by building the main part of the body and gluing on the first of the arms. Then we glue on some of the cables and the next arm. Gluing on right arms now, so 7 and 8. 9, the front of the torso there. Choose your head. Then we want to build the leg construction, so gluing on the back support leg and the two front legs. Before we glue the torso down to the actual legs itself, and then we glue on our final arms. And then yeah, glue a piece of scenery to the base, but leave the model separate to help with painting. And yeah, you might want to leave a little bit of space on the base. What I will do is mark out with a bit of paint where the foot will go, apply a basing technique, basing texture around it, and then clean off that area when I come to glue the model down. So painting the model, if you are following the magazine, yep, paint your Necrons this way. So we use Runelord brass first of all to get a good solid coat on our Necron. And then we start picking out all the joints and gun casings with Abaddon Black, picking out all the smaller details with Lead Belcher, Canoptek alloy on the larger parts of the plate, the armor plate, and also his face. Cryptek Armor Shade over all the Runelord Brass details, non-oil, the Lead Belcher details, and Lycan Flesh Shade, the Cryptek Canoptek alloy areas. That's it for base coating. On to highlighting. So we start with Administratum Grey on the black details, Stormhost Silver over pretty much everything else. We paint the faceplate then with Corax White, then the cables and the energy orb on the back with Corax White as well, before applying Tesseract Glow to all of the cables, the orb and the eyes. And I want to highlight the faceplate with White Scar, as well as the cables, picking out the upper areas where the light will catch. So for painting the base, like I said, what you want to do is mark out where the larger part that connects to the base is going to go. Then put your texture paste down first, let it dry, then do your painting. So yeah, paint this rock and the texture with Mechanica Standard Grey. Pick out the metal with Lead Belcher, the Scarabs of Runelord Brass, the White Stone with Corax White, and rack off flesh for that skull. Then non-oil on the metal and the black, then Agrax Earthshade on everything else. And Cryptek Armor Shade for the Scarabs. Highlight Stormhost Silver on the metal. Then we highlight the Stone of Pallid Witch Flesh, Tesseract Glow on the little energy orbs on the back of the Scarabs there. And then we glue it to the base. And base, well, how I'm doing it is I'd base first, then glue it down afterwards, just to help save getting it over the completed model. It's not too important that this leg gets glued down, but as long as you have one solid foot holding down the model, you should be fine. So yeah, there we have it. Moving on to his rules then. So yeah, he's 4 power, has movement 8, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 2+, strength, toughness, and wounds of 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, and a 3+ save. So he has 6 pneumatic pistols, so that's 6 shots. Wow. So yeah, living metal, command protocols, dimensional translocation. So he can go into transdimensional location and phase in. Pretty nasty. Inescapable death. Each time this model makes a ranged attack, you can ignore all hit, roll, and ballistic skill modifiers, and the target does not receive the benefits of cover against those attacks. In addition, each time this model fires Overwatch, it scores hits on 2+ rather than 6. So yeah, he is pretty nasty and well worth picking up multiples of if you want to run a destroyer-focused army. I mean, Overwatching on 2+ is pretty nasty. He has the multi-threat eliminator, so each time this model is destroyed, or an enemy model is destroyed by a ranged attack made by this model, after this model makes the rest of its attacks, it can shoot one of its pistols at one additional time. These attacks cannot generate other additional attacks. And we have the usual hardwired for destruction rule, so reroll hit rolls of 1. On the back, we got the multi-threat eliminator here, so we get doing his 6 shots at the Skitarii. And we killed 3 models, so he gets 3 more shots there, killing off 2 more Skitarii. And then, yeah, we got the rule for the inescapable death, so hitting on 2s against Overwatch, pretty potent. Pretty nasty. Can't wait to get this guy built and painted. So, moving on then, we return to Kalmar's skull here. So, we got the monument in Noctilith and the reconnaissance mission. So, 75 power over all 4 battle mats. And we have 6 objectives. So, yeah, as usual, we have capture and control, 10 points for each objective, totaling up to 30. 1 or more, 2 or more, and more objective markers than the opponent. Secondary objectives. The Imperium may select the Auspex upload ability. So, each time the Imperium's player successfully completes his action, scores 5 points. And the action, 1 unit in the army can start this action at the end of the movement phase, within range of an objective marker, and no enemies are in range. The action is completed at the end of your next command phase, so long as the unit is still in range of the same objective marker. This action can only be performed once on each objective marker. So a total of 30 points if we manage to get to all 6 objectives. But we can only do, like I said, the action once on each objective and only 1 unit a turn. So kind of limiting, but at least you can do it in the first turn if you're able to get to an objective by the looks of things. But that will still only really give you 5 maximum, suppose 25 points. If you get to successfully do it, of course. But capture and control is going to be, of course, our primary way of scoring points. Alright, so next up then, we got parts 1, 2 and 3 of that fantastic Redemptor the Dreadnought. I'm currently painting mine up. Once he's done, I will get around to doing the videos for it. But he is fantastic. We get full build and paint guides, we got the rules, more about the Tyranids, new stories, and we get 3 campaign missions and 1 in each issue. So, really cool. Can't wait to get around to this guy. So, there we have it. That was issue 85 of Imperium. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this video and what do you think of the Hexmark Destroyer. Do you like him? Have you actually used him in game, and is he as potent on the field as he is on paper, or is he a wet tissue and just crumbles to pieces once he gets targeted by something? Just let me know. I'm definitely looking forward to trying him out, especially in a pretty small game. So yeah, looking like a fun little model either way. So yeah, thank you again then. Thank you all for watching. If you think I deserve it, please give the video a like and check out all my links down below. And I will see you next time on the Imperium journey. Goodbye.